Have you ever wondered how your brain transforms the raw data it receives from the outside world into meaningful experiences? This process, known as sensation and perception, is fundamental to our understanding of reality. In this episode, we'll unlock the secrets behind how we see, hear, taste, smell, touch, and even sense our body's position. By the end of this video, you'll have a deeper appreciation for the intricate systems that shape our sensory experiences. So, let's dive right in. To begin with, let's define sensation and perception. Sensation is the process of receiving sensory information through our sensory organs, such as the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. It involves the detection and transmission of physical stimuli to the brain. Perception, on the other hand, is the interpretation of these sensory signals by the brain to form a coherent and meaningful understanding of our environment. In other words, while sensation is about receiving data, perception is about making sense of it. Let's start with the visual system, which is responsible for our sense of sight. When light enters the eye, it first passes through the cornea, a transparent outer layer that helps focus the incoming light. The light then travels through the pupil, the opening in the center of the iris, which can expand or contract to regulate the amount of light entering the eye. The lens, located behind the iris, further focuses the light onto the retina, a layer of photoreceptor cells at the back of the eye. The retina contains two types of photoreceptors, rods and cones. Rods are highly sensitive to light and are responsible for vision in low light conditions, while cones are less sensitive to light but can detect color and fine detail. There are three types of cones, each sensitive to different wavelengths of light, corresponding to red, green, and blue. The information from the rods and cones is then transmitted to the brain via the optic nerve. The visual information received by the retina is initially processed in the primary visual cortex, located at the back of the brain in the occipital lobe. From there, it is further processed in various visual areas that specialize in different aspects of vision, such as color, motion, and depth. This hierarchical processing allows the brain to construct a detailed and coherent visual representation of the world around us. The process of vision is an extraordinary interplay between light, the eye, and the brain. To delve deeper, let's explore the specific pathways and mechanisms involved. When light hits the retina, it triggers a chemical reaction in the photoreceptor cells. This reaction leads to a change in the electrical charge of the cells, generating a neural signal. These signals are then transmitted to the bipolar cells and subsequently to the ganglion cells. The axons of the ganglion cells converge to form the optic nerve, which carries the visual information to the brain. The optic nerve from each eye meets at the optic chiasm, where some of the nerve fibers cross to the opposite side of the brain. This crossing allows the visual information from the right visual field of both eyes to be processed in the left hemisphere of the brain, and vice versa. The information then travels through the optic tract to the lateral geniculate nucleus, LGN, of the thalamus. The LGN acts as a relay station, sending the visual information to the primary visual cortex. The primary visual cortex, also known as V1, is responsible for the initial processing of visual information. It detects basic features, such as edges, orientation, and motion. From V1, the information is sent to other visual areas, including V2, V3, V4, and the inferior temporal cortex, each of which processes more complex aspects of vision. For example, V4 is involved in color perception, while the inferior temporal cortex is responsible for recognizing objects and faces. The brain's ability to process visual information so rapidly and accurately is a testament to its incredible complexity and efficiency. However, this process is not infallible, and various factors can influence our perception. For instance, optical illusions exploit the brain's processing mechanisms to create perceptions that do not match the physical reality. One classic example is the Mueller-Lyer illusion, where two lines of equal length appear different because of the orientation of the arrowheads at their ends. This illusion demonstrates how context and prior knowledge influence our perception. Now let's move on to the auditory system, which is responsible for our sense of hearing. Sound waves are vibrations that travel through the air and enter the ear canal. These sound waves cause the eardrum, a thin membrane at the end of the ear canal, to vibrate. The vibrations are then transmitted to the middle ear, where they are amplified by three tiny bones known as the ossicles: the malleus, hammer, incus, anvil, and stapes, stirrup. The amplified vibrations are then passed to the cochlea, a spiral-shaped organ in the inner ear filled with fluid. The cochlea contains thousands of tiny hair cells that move in response to the vibrations, converting them into electrical signals. These electrical signals are then transmitted to the brain via the auditory nerve. The auditory information is initially processed in the primary auditory cortex, located in the temporal lobe of the brain. From there, it is further processed in various auditory areas that specialize in different aspects of sound, such as pitch, volume, and location. This allows the brain to create a detailed and coherent auditory representation of our environment. The auditory system, like the visual system, involves a series of complex processes that convert physical stimuli into perceptual experiences. When sound waves enter the ear, they cause the eardrum to vibrate. These vibrations are transmitted through the ossicles to the oval window, a membrane-covered opening to the cochlea. The movement of the oval window creates waves in the fluid inside the cochlea, which in turn moves the basilar membrane. The basilar membrane varies in width and stiffness along its length, allowing it to respond differently to different frequencies of sound. High-frequency sounds cause the base of the basilar membrane to vibrate, while low-frequency sounds affect the apex. This tonotopic organization enables the cochlea to separate complex sounds into their component frequencies. The movement of the basilar membrane causes the hair cells to bend, leading to the opening of ion channels and the generation of electrical signals. These signals are transmitted to the brain via the auditory nerve, where they are processed by the primary auditory cortex and other auditory areas. This processing allows us to perceive various aspects of sound, such as pitch, loudness, and spatial location. One fascinating phenomenon in auditory perception is the McGurk effect. When the auditory component of one sound is paired with the visual component of another, we often perceive a third, different sound. For example, if the sound ba is paired with the visual lip movements of ga, we might perceive da. This effect illustrates the integration of visual and auditory information in our perception of speech. Beyond vision and hearing, our other senses play equally important roles in our perception of the world. The sense of taste, or gustation, is mediated by taste buds located on the tongue and in the mouth. These taste buds contain receptors that detect 5 basic tastes: sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and umami, savory. When food molecules bind to these receptors, they trigger electrical signals that are transmitted to the brain via the gustatory nerves. Taste perception is influenced by various factors, including smell, texture, and temperature. The combination of these sensory inputs creates the overall flavor experience. For example, the aroma of food is detected by olfactory receptors in the nasal cavity, which significantly contributes to the perception of taste. This is why food often tastes bland when we have a cold and our sense of smell is impaired. The sense of smell, or olfaction, is mediated by olfactory receptors located in the nasal cavity. When odor molecules bind to these receptors, they trigger electrical signals that are transmitted to the brain via the olfactory nerve. The brain processes these signals in the olfactory bulb and other olfactory areas, allowing us to detect and identify different smells. The sense of smell is closely linked to memory and emotion due to the direct connections between the olfactory bulb and the limbic system, which includes structures such as the hippocampus and amygdala. This connection explains why certain smells can evoke vivid memories or strong emotional responses. For example, the smell of freshly baked cookies might remind you of your childhood home, or the scent of a particular perfume might evoke memories of a loved one. The sense of touch, or somatosensation, is mediated by receptors located in the skin. These receptors detect various types of physical stimuli, such as pressure, temperature, and pain. When these receptors are stimulated, they trigger electrical signals that are transmitted to the brain via sensory nerves. The brain processes these signals in the somatosensori cortex, located in the parietal lobe, allowing us to feel and respond to different tactile sensations. There are several types of touch receptors, each specialized for detecting specific types of stimuli. For example, Merkel cells respond to light touch and texture. Meissner's corpuscles detect gentle pressure and low-frequency vibrations, and Pacinian corpuscles are sensitive to deep pressure and high-frequency vibrations. Nociceptors detect pain, and thermoreceptors respond to changes in temperature. The sense of touch is essential for various functions, including object recognition, social bonding, and physical protection. It allows us to interact with our environment, communicate with others, and detect potential dangers. For example, the sensation of pain alerts us to potential injury, prompting us to take protective action. Proprioception, or body awareness, is the sense that allows us to perceive the position and movement of our body parts. It is mediated by receptors located in muscles, tendons, and joints. When these receptors detect changes in muscle tension or joint position, they trigger electrical signals that are transmitted to the brain via sensory nerves. The brain processes these signals in various motor and sensory areas, allowing us to coordinate our movements and maintain balance. Proprioception is crucial for everyday activities, such as walking, typing, and playing sports. It enables us to perform complex movements without constantly having to look at our limbs. For example, when you reach for a glass of water, proprioception allows you to accurately position your hand without having to visually monitor its movement. Now that we have a basic understanding of how our sensory systems work, let's explore some fascinating phenomena and experiments that reveal the complexities of sensation and perception. One classic experiment in the study of visual perception is the Mueller-Lear illusion. This illusion consists of two lines of equal length, each with arrowheads at the ends. One line has arrowheads pointing inward, while the other has arrowheads pointing outward. Despite being the same length, the line with the inward-pointing arrowheads appears longer than the line with the outward-pointing arrowheads. This illusion demonstrates how our brain interprets visual information based on context and prior knowledge, leading to perceptual distortions. Another intriguing phenomenon in auditory perception is the cocktail party effect. This effect refers to our ability to focus on a single conversation in a noisy environment, such as a party, while filtering out other background sounds. This selective attention allows us to concentrate on important auditory information while ignoring irrelevant noise. However, certain stimuli, such as hearing our name, can capture our attention even in a noisy environment. Taste perception can also be influenced by various factors, such as smell, texture, and even visual appearance. This is why food can taste different depending on its presentation or the environment in which it is consumed. For example, a study found that people rated the same wine as more flavorful and enjoyable when it was served in a more expensive-looking bottle compared to a cheap-looking bottle. This demonstrates how our expectations and context can shape our sensory experiences. The sense of smell is closely linked to memory and emotion, which is why certain smells can evoke vivid memories or strong emotional responses. This connection is due to the close proximity of the olfactory bulb to the brain's limbic system, which is involved in emotion and memory. For example, the smell of freshly baked cookies might remind you of your childhood home, or the scent of a particular perfume might evoke memories of a loved one. Touch perception is also subject to various influences and can vary greatly between individuals. Factors such as age, health, and even psychological state can affect how we perceive touch. For example, studies have shown that people with depression or anxiety may have altered sensitivity to pain and touch, highlighting the complex interplay between physical and psychological factors in sensory perception. Proprioception can be affected by various conditions, such as injuries or neurological disorders. For example, individuals with Parkinson's disease may have impaired proprioception, leading to difficulties with movement and balance. Rehabilitation and physical therapy can help improve proprioception and enhance motor control in these individuals. In addition to these fascinating phenomena, there are many practical applications of our understanding of sensation and perception. For example, in the field of virtual reality, researchers and developers strive to create immersive experiences by accurately replicating sensory stimuli. This involves understanding how our sensory systems work and how to manipulate sensory information to create realistic and engaging virtual environments. In the field of medicine, understanding sensation and perception is crucial for diagnosing and treating sensory disorders. For example, individuals with hearing loss can benefit from cochlear implants, which bypass damaged parts of the ear and directly stimulate the auditory nerve. Similarly, individuals with vision loss can benefit from technologies such as retinal implants, which aim to restore some degree of vision by stimulating the remaining functional cells in the retina. In the field of psychology, studying sensation and perception can provide insights into various mental health conditions. For example, individuals with schizophrenia may experience hallucinations, which are perceptual experiences that occur without external stimuli. Understanding the neural mechanisms underlying these hallucinations can help develop better treatments and interventions for individuals with schizophrenia. In everyday life, understanding sensation and perception can help us make more informed decisions and enhance our experiences. For example, being aware of how our senses can be influenced by context and expectations can help us become more mindful of our sensory experiences and appreciate the complexity of our perception. One area where sensation and perception play a crucial role is in marketing and advertising. Companies often use sensory stimuli to influence consumer behavior and create memorable brand experiences. For example, stores might use certain scents to evoke a sense of nostalgia or comfort, encouraging customers to spend more time and money. Similarly, the color and design of packaging can impact our perception of a product's quality and appeal. Another fascinating application is in the field of human-computer interaction. Understanding how we perceive and interact with sensory information can help design more intuitive and user-friendly interfaces. For example, haptic feedback in touchscreens and virtual reality systems can enhance the user experience by providing tactile sensations that mimic real-world interactions. The study of sensation and perception also extends to the field of ergonomics, where it informs the design of tools, workspaces, and environments to optimize human performance and safety. For example, understanding how we perceive and respond to visual and auditory information can help design more effective warning systems and reduce the risk of accidents in high-stress environments, such as air traffic control or surgery. In the realm of sports and physical training, proprioception and kinesthetic awareness are essential for athletes to perform at their best. Training programs often include exercises that enhance proprioception and coordination, helping athletes improve their balance, agility, and overall performance. For example, balance boards and stability exercises can improve an athlete's ability to maintain control and stability during dynamic movements. In the field of education, understanding sensation and perception can enhance teaching methods and learning experiences. For example, multisensory approaches that engage multiple senses can improve memory retention and comprehension. Incorporating visual aids, hands-on activities, and auditory feedback can create a more engaging and effective learning environment. Moreover, the study of sensation and perception has implications for art and design. Artists and designers often use principles of visual perception, such as color theory and composition, to create aesthetically pleasing and impactful works. Understanding how viewers perceive and interpret visual elements can inform the creation of more compelling and meaningful art. In the realm of entertainment, sensation and perception are key to creating immersive and engaging experiences. Filmmakers, game developers, and theme park designers use sensory stimuli to captivate audiences and create realistic and emotionally resonant experiences. For example, 3D movies and virtual reality games rely on our visual and auditory systems to create a sense of depth and presence. The exploration of sensation and perception also extends to the field of neuroscience, where researchers study the neural mechanisms underlying sensory processing and perception. Advances in neuroimaging techniques, such as functional MRI and electrophysiology, have provided insights into how the brain integrates sensory information and how this integration is affected by various factors, such as attention, learning, and development. In the context of aging, sensation and perception can change over time, impacting the quality of life and daily functioning of older adults. For example, Age-related changes in vision and hearing can affect an individual's ability to interact with their environment and communicate with others. Understanding these changes can inform the development of interventions and technologies to support healthy aging and enhance sensory experiences in older adults. In the realm of developmental psychology, studying sensation and perception in infants and children can provide insights into how these processes develop and how early sensory experiences shape cognitive and perceptual abilities. For example, research on infant visual and auditory development can inform the design of educational toys and interventions that promote healthy sensory development. In the field of sensory substitution, researchers explore ways to compensate for lost or impaired senses by using other sensory modalities. For example, devices that convert visual information into auditory or tactile signals can help individuals with vision loss navigate their environment and perform daily tasks. These technologies leverage the brain's ability to adapt and integrate sensory information from different modalities. In the context of mental health, sensory processing disorders can affect individuals' ability to interpret and respond to sensory stimuli. For example, individuals with autism spectrum disorder may experience hypersensitivity or hyposensitivity to certain sensory inputs, leading to challenges in daily functioning and social interactions. Understanding these sensory processing differences can inform the development of therapeutic approaches and support strategies. Finally, sensation and perception are central to our subjective experience of reality. Our sensory systems allow us to perceive the world in rich detail, enabling us to navigate our environment, interact with others, and experience a wide range of emotions and sensations. By studying sensation and perception, we gain a deeper understanding of the human experience and the remarkable capabilities of the brain. In conclusion, sensation and perception are fundamental processes that shape our understanding of the world. From the detection of sensory stimuli to the interpretation of these signals by the brain, our sensory systems work in intricate ways to create our perception of reality. By exploring the fascinating phenomena and practical applications of sensation and perception, we can gain a deeper appreciation for the complexity and wonder of our sensory experiences. Thank you for joining us in this episode. If you enjoyed this deep dive into sensation and perception, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more fascinating psychology topics. See you next time.